Realtor with X-Treme Bait Tanks. Periodically, we'll get an email or I'll get a phone call, and the question will be, what's the best way to clean your bait tank? I'm going to show you what I do personally. I know there's some old timers out there that's got this down pat, but if you're new or looking for ideas, I'm going to share with you what I personally do. First, I don't recommend any chemicals whatsoever. I just use a Mr. Clean or these erasers and a little water and wipe it down. Now this tank is my 20-gallon X-Treme tank. It's got a 800-gallon-per-hour pump on the 12-volt, 2 filter socks, a skimmer, and a 110 for a nighttime plug-in. And I was keeping herring and threadfin in here. Now, when I say I've been using it for 2 weeks, it's not been drained for 2 weeks, but I have changed the filters. And the first thing I always notice is we get that scum on top of the lid. And for me, it's that simple. And I'm telling you what, from what I've seen on these tanks, if you take care of them, they'll look new for a long time. And this stuff is a whole lot easier to get off when it's wet rather than waiting for it to dry and do it the next day. Then I repeat, I just do the same thing here. Now I've already taken out the filter socks and the manifolds, and those are a little slimy. I'll clean these up as well. This material is made of a HDPE, it's high density polyethylene. It's a food grade material, has antibacterial properties in it. And if you clean it up, it's brand new every time. It really does not take a whole lot. I'll turn mine upside down when I'm done, and that way it can air dry a lot easier. That's really about it. We'll clean up the outside as well. All right, when cleaning up the outside, nothing more, same sponge, just get it wet. And whatever's on there will eventually come off. That's a little stubborn. We had some dried blood on there. My finger. I also want to show you this item that we came across. It's a siphon. It doesn't require any 12-volt or any pumps. It's a shaker siphon. So if you put this down inside of your bait tank and you give about 3 or 4 hard shakes, it actually primes the line. You can just drop it and it'll drain your bait tank. I know a lot of us don't have drains, obviously, in the bottom of our tank. That's only a feature in the build-a-tank concept right now on the newer tanks. But if you're an older tank and you want to hold on to it and you want an easy way to drain, check out our website at xtremebaittanks.com and you can find these shaker siphons. All right, filter socks. I'm going to highly recommend keeping these as clean as possible as often as possible. Now we can't always do that, and it always depends on the type of bait. Now this particular bag, there was 3 bags, again, 2 on the main manifold where it filters from the bottom up, and 1 on the skimmer from the top down. These are 3 days old. I hadn't cleaned them, but for me, I can get away with that because I'm doing threadfin and alewives here on Lake Cumberland. But it's pretty amazing what these things will collect. So to clean them, you just turn them inside out. I want to show you just the amount of crud that these things collect. We have a joke, some of you have heard me say it. The good news about the bags are they catch everything. The bad news about the bags are they catch everything. And that's more in line with your gizzard shad, because if you use the tank to purge your bait, which you can, the bags are going to catch everything. However, especially with gizzard and that slime coat that they put off, you're going to clog this material up pretty quick. That's why as a feature, you can order a second manifold with a second set of bags for a quick change. So after an hour or two, when you notice that the water's not turning over, it's your bags being clogged up. You can shut your tank down, pop off the manifold, put a new manifold on with clean bags, and within seconds, you're up and running. And then you can take your time cleaning out your bag. Now, on these bags, when you clean them out, do not let them dry dirty. If you have to, put them in a bucket of water if you can't get to them right away. But I'm told that if you let them dry dirty, you'll taint the material. But just turn them inside out, get your hose, and just rinse them out. I'll get all the solids off of this first, then I'll turn it around and repeat. You know, if you were out in the boat, you could do this over the edge of the boat. And I had, I'd say, a good 100 bait in this tank for that period of time, for those 3 days. And I had said something earlier about having this tank on for 2 weeks. There was one time I did two times I did a partial water change, and that was when I went to bait up again. I would take some of the water out with that siphon I just showed you, and then put in new water. And in this case, I put in just lake water. Some people like to use the tap water, but my concern for that is, especially if I have bait already in the tank, is the chlorine in the water. Now, if I'm going to start a tank off brand new, I think tap water is great when you use a chlorinator. But I use lake water in all the cases. And I'll tell you what, that lake water, after a while, it just continues to impress me how clean everything looks. As far as the water goes, the clarity of the water. I'll hit this one more time. Some people say they put them in their washer and dryer. I guess if mom is okay with that, you can get away with that. I've done it. It actually doesn't do a bad job. I just don't know how necessary it is. But there we go. Now I'll let those air dry. Now let's talk about the skimmer bag. You can use a full-size bag. Sometimes I get these minis, but that skimmer on this goes right at that water line. And as that water circulates, it'll help to pull some of those solids off the surface of the water. Now, if you get a heavy foam, it's not going to reduce that. We play around with different screen caps. I'm liking this one because it sort of sticks out and it causes that foam to butt up against it, sometimes breaking it up. And as a result, this is the bag. And let's see, let me show you just the amount. And to me, every little bit helps. This is all right off the surface. So in my opinion, that's a nice little feature. The other part of that feature is because I have a 110. I 100% recommend a skimmer whenever you have a 110, because during the day when you're fishing out of your tank and you're on a 12 volt, you're in and out of your tank all day long. And if a bait jam gets up there, or a weak piece of bait gets sucked up against that screen, it could prevent the water from turning over. Well, when you go to bed at night and you unplug this tank from your batteries and you plug it into the wall, the idea is to be able to go to bed, have a peace of mind that your tank's running and your batteries are charging. Well, if you get a piece of bait that gets stuck down there, it could cause that water not to turn over. So as that water rises, the skimmer actually serves as an emergency overflow. So as the water rises, then it continues to filter, and you wake up in the morning, you could fix whatever's going on and not have to worry about having a bad tank when you wake up. Okay, so if you consider your bait tank to be the most important piece of equipment on your boat, take a little time, get it cleaned up, put it away, and it will continue to serve you for years and years to come by circulating, filtering, and oxygenating that water. Follow us on Facebook at X-Treme Bait Tanks, X-Treme Auction Box, or go to our website, extremebaittanks.com, for products, sizes, and pricing. And until then, we hope you have an extreme day.